Here's what typically, when someone comes to us, they typically have a need. They have a bottleneck somewhere in their operations. It's an advisor. I talked to one yesterday. He's working 10, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, Saturday and Sunday. His family's upset with him because he's never around. So typically by the time we're talking to them, they already have the need and feel the pain. And that's why they're coming to us. So I like to say that while it's an expense, we are not obviously doing this for, no cost, but it's an expense in your operations and your business. But the amount of time I can save you, like what would you do with 10 hours a week, Andrew? If I could give you 10 extra hours a week.
You're speaking my language because that's literally what I do for people is we buy
literally.
Back their time.
So, it's the time that I can save you because then you're not having to sit down and pre-fill applications and call carriers and find out where the transfer is. So I'm saving you hours a week so that you can go do what you need to do, which is scale your business, grow, and sell.
This episode is brought to you by Pierre Tax and Accounting, led by CPA Eric Pierre, a seasoned accounting and tax expert with years of experience helping individuals and businesses navigate complex financial landscapes. Whether you need personal tax planning, business tax strategy, bookkeeping, or financial planning support, Eric and his team are committed to helping you protect and grow your financial future with clarity and confidence. To get expert guidance you can trust, check out Pierre Tax and Accounting at pierreaccounting.com. We'd also like to thank Data Driven Decisions, founded by Katie Forrester, for sponsoring today's show. Data Driven Decisions specializes in accounting, bookkeeping, payroll, and advisory services tailored specifically for small businesses and entrepreneurs who want financial clarity and peace of mind. From KPI reporting to fractional CFO support and QuickBooks training, Katie's team brings big firm expertise with a personal touch. Visit them at datadriven.coach to see how smart financial support can make all the difference in your business growth. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Big Hitters Podcast. I'm joined by Heather from the Admin Effect. Heather and I used to work together at Financial Independence Group, along with the founder of her company, Caitlin. So Heather, long time no see. Tell us about your job at the Admin Effect, Director of Business Development.
Yes. Hi, Andrew. Thank you so much for having me. I am the Business Development Specialist here at the Admin Effect. As you know, that is leading the sales team and the marketing team here. We are a firm who helps support financial advisors and their back office.
That's awesome. So I remember when I was at FIG and I was a marketer and I left, and Caitlin and I used to work like fairly close proximity. And I think I just remember when all of this was just an idea, and so to see what you guys are doing today, it's really cool. It's really impressive. But tell us about the business itself, like at its core. What do you guys do?
Sure. So the Admin Effect, Caitlin worked for, and myself, we both worked for FIG for about 8 years. Caitlin left a little bit before I did. And she was kind of just looking to do something different. What else was out there? She was like, do I go work for like a carrier or home office? Do I work for an advisor? What are my options? So she ended up contracting with 2 advisors. They contracted her part-time to help with their new business operations, just, pre-filling applications, emails, logging into their CRM. At the end of about 8 or 9 months, she had 8 full-time advisors. So she was like, okay, there's a need for this in our industry. At the IMO level where we both worked, by the time that we really got the business, it was already submitted. So I was a case manager for many years, almost 8.5. And by the time we got the business from the advisor, it was already submitted to the carrier. We're just following up. So we didn't really have to understand the why behind it. Why did he sell this product to the client? What are they looking to get out of this? So where the Admin Effect differs is we kind of log in and get integrated with the advisor and their system pre-sale. So the advisor makes the sale. He says, okay, I'm going to have my assistant, which we'll just say is Heather in this case, and she's going to help you. We would help with pre-filling that annuity application or opening that AUM account, initiating rollover calls and doing that with the client. So we are client facing, doing and handling all of those follow-ups and chasing that money until that business is issued and funded and the client is got their policy. So it's very important to understand, again, why the advisor sold that product to the client so we could understand what we're trying to accomplish with that.
I love that. So it's funny because this is the same pain point that I see in other industries, which is getting paid on business. So I talked to a lot of roofers, restoration companies, people that have to deal with insurance companies. And anytime money is moving hands, assets are transferring, it's a pain. And paperwork and NIGOs, like not in good orders, can cause a lot of issues and headache. And so
It's typically, Andrew, it's typically not a people problem, though. It's typically a process problem.
mhm.
It's typically not moving or not in good order because, again, they don't understand the process. They don't understand they're getting NIGOs, and one of our famous quotes here at the Admin Effect is we turn NIGOs into IGOs. So we're making those not in good orders in good orders, even before it's submitted to kind of avoid those headaches because we have the experience and expertise from our staff. We have 22 people full time on our staff right now that are helping advisors all over the country. But again, it's understanding whether the industry, as you said, is roofing or financial advisors. It's understanding the process. What do I have to do to get that money from here to here?
Mm-hmm. I love that. Okay. So, talk to me. So, from 8 advisors to how many advisors do you guys serve now, or financial institutions?
A lot. I don't
Are
even
we talking
know.
hundreds, thousands? Like, how big are we? I'm curious.
I would say the Admin Effect has about 50 clients right now. So
Okay.
50, and we're issuing to the tune of over, and don't quote me on this, but I'm going to say about 800 million a month for advisors all over the country. We're IMO agnostic. We work with all carriers. Again, we're in the annuity, new business, and AUM space. From pre-filling those applications, here's what typically, when someone comes to us, they typically have a need. They have a bottleneck somewhere in their operations. It's an advisor. I talked to one yesterday. He's working 10, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, Saturday and Sunday. His family's upset with him because he's never around. So typically by the time we're talking to them, they already have the need and feel the pain. And that's why they're coming to us. So I like to say that while it's an expense, we are not obviously doing this for, no cost, but it's an expense in your operations and your business. But the amount of time I can save you, like what would you do with 10 hours a week, Andrew? If I could give you 10 extra hours a week.
You're speaking my language because that's literally what I do for people. Is we buy back their
Literally.
time.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, it's the time that I can save you because then you're not having to sit down and pre-fill applications and call carriers and find out where the transfer is. So I'm saving you hours a week so that you can go do what you need to do, which is scale your business, grow, and sell.
That's great. When I hung my own shingle, paperwork was total pain. So the way I did it was virtual assistants overseas. But
Mm-hmm.
it'd be nice to know, like, this is what Caitlin explained to me last time we spoke, but you guys have all of the SOPs for Athene and Allianz and what ways they like their paperwork or how to
Yes.
get the money to move from Fidelity to Schwab. Like you guys have that down to a science, it sounds like.
Yes. So all of our people are United States based and they all have industry experience. So they've come from IMOs, a lot of IMO. Some have come from actual carriers. Some of our employees worked at large advisor offices. So we all have industry experience, which that in itself, is a huge plus. But yes, we know the ins and outs and what each carrier is looking for. We understand that while, let's just say, Allianz, American Equity, and North American might all be asking the same question on a suitability form. They word it and ask it 3 different ways. So you have to be versed and privy to that information and know exactly what it is they're looking for. So that in itself is, putting us a step above everyone else.
That's great. So what is your business model? Is it a flat fee? Is it a percentage of the business? How does that work?
So we have 3 different levels of service: a foundation, an elite, and a prestige. And so basically I get on the phone as the business development specialist with these advisor offices, and I kind of custom tailor and understand what their need is. And we kind of build something from there. We also recently launched about a year and a half ago, and this has really been fantastically successful, our new business intensive course. What that is, Andrew, is we have people sending their staff to us. In fact, this week we had a carrier sending their new business staff to us. We've had IMOs send their contracting and new business teams to us because of exactly what I said. I worked at an IMO for almost 8.5 years. There were things I didn't know. I started with Caitlin, and I'll never forget it. She asked me to pre-fill an annuity app, and I was like, 8.5 years, senior case manager, I got this. No, I didn't. I had no idea of what they were asking in some of the areas because that wasn't a thing for us. It wasn't important for us to learn that whole story or that whole reason for the sale. So we were just kind of staying in our box there, right? So Caitlin created this course, and we have, again, people from all over the industry are sending their staff to us. It's a 2-day in-person course here in Cornelius, North Carolina, and it's fantastic. There's a proprietary workbook. Caitlin goes all the way back to the 80s in this course. Why did they create annuities?
That's super cool. So, all right. So what are some here? I have a couple questions just about the business. What are some things that are going really well with your business? And what are some areas that you feel like need improvement or are not going so well?
So I would think some of the things that are going really well with the admin effect is this was our breakout year. Like I feel like this year people know us now. People hear the admin effect or Tay and they're like, oh, we've gone to events where the last few years we went and they were kind of like, okay, now what do you do? Tell me. I recently went to a huge event at a carrier and they were like, oh, the admin effect, you're here. So that's going really well. We've really gotten ourselves out there and got that recognition in the industry. Something that I think could be tightened up is, I would say, we provide an operational analysis for all of our advisor clients. So once you sign on with us and once we kind of get integrated, as we say, TAE, because we're TAE. So once we get integrated into their business, we provide an operational analysis for that office so we can help them to understand where their bottlenecks are, where their hiccups are in their business and what they can do better. And I feel like something that could be maybe tightened up or fixed up a little bit in that situation is taking a longer time, because some of these advisor offices, Andrew, are doing $30 million a month and they're working off sticky notes and spreadsheets. So for us, that's really hard to understand their process and get them to be able to utilize the CRM they have. So I would say that's something we need to work on, is being able to help them.
Please call your pal Andrew Hathaway, because that's what we do is systems integrations, AI automations,
Fantastic.
virtual assistant staffing. We can partner on that stuff. That'd
help
be really
them
fun.
get rid of sticky notes and spreadsheets.
Yeah,
And a lot of these guys, and this business is about relationships and comfort. So a lot of these guys have been doing it for 20, 30 years, and they're comfortable doing it that way. But in this day and age, and if they want their business to grow and scale, they got to step out of that box.
Yeah. So my vision for everything is AI plus VA. So here's the thing is, with all the AI stuff that comes out today, it's crazy. Like the technology's here, the user's still back here.
Correct.
Right.
That's the problem.
And so my vision to bridge that gap is a virtual assistant, someone overseas who can log in, leverage your AI tools. I tell people all the time, I don't even know the login for my CRM. I don't even know it because I just text my VA and she puts it all in there. So I love that. What are some things, let's talk about AI for a second. How are you guys using it? Where do you feel like it's shaping your industry?
So we're working on that. That's one of our goals for 2026 is to see what more we can do with AI, because again, this industry is really built on relationships, as you know.
Yep.
And I feel like AI takes away some of that personalness, of the relationship. So while we do integrate in and the admin effect is behind the scenes, so to speak, working, it's still a very client-facing frontal relationship business. So we're going to explore. We have some great things coming up that we're looking into for AI to see how we can help. But right now, we're just dipping our toes in.
Yeah. Where do you feel like, if you look at your business, and I agree with you, I don't think AI should replace the human touch ever. It should leverage the human touch.
Correct.
Where do you feel like you guys could be using it?
Definitely in that carrier to the CRM. So say the advisor CRM and pre-filling the application. If they have client information in that CRM and they know that they're going to purchase XYZ annuity application, there should be some way for that CRM to pre-fill that annuity application rather than being so manual. So I see that as a big
I have a solution for that. Let's talk more about that. I love that. What do you get fired up about? You're a very animated person. I can tell you're very excited about what you guys are doing. What's the most fun part of this business for you?
So for me, it is having these advisor offices and staff. I get to visit a lot of clients and see a lot of clients and seeing that light bulb go off for them. You know, we had a gal here a couple months ago and she was doing this for about 2 years. She was an assistant and she was pre-filling applications, doing transfer paperwork. And I remember we were in our training class and we were talking about a 1035 exchange. And she said, wait a minute, a 1035 exchange means non-qualified? I thought that was just what it was called. So kind of putting the whole picture together and seeing that our new business development, our new business intensive course that Caitlin created, like how it really is helping people to understand, again, the process. Like seeing that light bulb moment for people is astonishing. And then furthermore, just having us being able to help and integrate and helping these offices that when we get to them, again, they're coming to us with a need. They're stressed out. You can see it in their faces. And just after a few weeks, the smiles, the attitude, we're helping them to create happy and healthy work environments.
I love that. What else do I want to ask you? I'm curious to know what are some of the typical, like most tricky types of cases that you guys run into? Is there a certain type of rollover? Is there a certain type of annuity app or certain types of situations that are pretty hairy?
This one, Andrew. Come on now. I would say replacements, and especially New York and Florida.
Yeah.
Just because, a replacement, you really, again, it goes back to understanding the why of the sale. Why are they replacing this for this product? Yes, there may be a surrender charge. However, they might be gaining a better rider or something like that, so just understanding that whole thing, that why. And I would say also one of our challenges, but what we have mastered is, on the replacement, that product comparison worksheet.
Mm-hmm. That's great. I had a question I want to ask. Okay, so I see Caitlin hanging out with the Hormozis a bit. So is there a partnership with acquisition.com?
Not a partnership, but Caitlin had attended acquisition.com. I think it was about a year ago now. And she went and she actually had a few of their scaling sessions. She just came back from one in November. So that was her second one that she attended. Layla and Alex are amazing. And the information and the guidance that they have been able to provide and even to help us with here at the Admin Effect, like they have helped us to grow our business just this year. I mean, just this year alone, we have tripled our business, Andrew. And I would say probably Caitlin would say and agree, a lot of that is probably due to some of their Alex and Layla's recommendations and guidance.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. If you're not following them on socials, you should be.
His books are some of my favorite. I love Offers and Money Models are two books.
I'm reading it right now. I'm almost done.
It's good. Actually, it gave me, literally, there was a section in there about running a referral campaign with your existing clients. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is brilliant.
Well, and that's the thing. Like they're giving such real life advice. And after you hear it, you're like, how did I never think of that?
Yep.
So it's just one of those things that I think everyone should read his books. I mean, they're just enlightening. They're very, very good.
They're free on Spotify, so there's nothing stopping you.
Oh, there you go.
What's one thing, Heather, we haven't talked about today that gets you fired up?
Who's going to go to the Super Bowl?
It's a great question. I want to say the Broncos, but I don't want to jinx it. So who's your team? The Panthers?
Oh, no. So I was born and raised in Pennsylvania. So I'm a Steelers fan, but not doing so well.
Yeah, they're kind of middle of the road. I'm trying to think, like, who's been lights out this year?
I like Kansas City. I know they get a bad name, but I really I do. Of course, it's because of the Taylor
Them and the Cowboys, my least favorite. The Patriots and the Red Sox, because I'm from Connecticut, born, outside of New York City. So those are my four teams that I just cannot cheer for. So the other day when the Chiefs were playing the Cowboys, I was like, I don't know who to hate more.
Aw. Yeah,
They've had their
so
run. They've had their run, the Chiefs, I
they
feel
I
like.
definitely. I think it's time. It's time.
Yeah.
And I have to sometimes I really like Green Bay. I mean, they're not bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I
Buffalo,
don't
not
know.
bad.
Yeah, surprisingly, the Patriots are really good this year. There's a couple like up and coming teams that are. We'll see how they do in the playoffs, though, where the veterans really shine.
Yeah.
So, well, anything else that the audience should know? Where can we find out more information?
Yeah, so I'll send information about our website, our LinkedIn, our Instagram, and they feel free. I'll give you my link. They can book a call with me and we can chat. Again, it's not a sales call. My thing is I just like getting us out there and meeting people in the industry, like-minded individuals, and seeing where it goes from that.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Don't go anywhere because I want to keep talking, but thank you for coming on the podcast.
Perfect. Thanks for having me, Andrew.